Here we have all my sketchbooks starting from 2016 to 2024, and then I have some big ones that are not here right now. But yeah, I'm gonna go through the pages, talk about things that were happening at the time, my thought process, my mindset, and everything like that. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna start with this one. I have just put my old sketches in this old little book note. I don't know why I have it, so we're just gonna get them out. This is not really in order by like month, but you know, I'm gonna go through these quickly because they're just from when I was really young. I think I was in 6th grade, which is year 6 here in England. I used to just mostly copy drawings, and I'll just go through them quickly. I was just experimenting. I used to just draw random stuff, whatever I liked. I thought this was great. I loved this. And I had a Melanie Martinez phase. At some point I would just copy anatomy. I would find whatever YouTubers were doing and I would just copy. This one wasn't copied. I remember doing this, just my own thought process. I thought this was the best thing I'd done at the time. I didn't look at anything for this one. This is 2017, and also I just have them in these little sketchbooks. I actually did use these, but they were just the cheap sketchbooks that you can get from like the works if you live in the UK. So I was starting with these drawings. Again, I think I was in year 6 and I was still doing these small sketches, just looking on Pinterest. I made this up. I think I copied this. Yeah, I was just drawing. This is where 2017 starts. I tried to use watercolor for the first time. Big fail. I hated it. I remember hating it. Another copied drawing. Pretty sure I copied this from Pinterest. Copied. I think copying made me very secure with my line work. It also made me like notice how to draw certain things. So I honestly think copying people's work is what helped me. That in practice, of course. I don't know what this is. Tried with watercolor again. The paper was cheap, the paints were cheap, it just wasn't working. I think I started taking drawing seriously in 2018. I was in year 8 and I was like, I want to learn how to draw. Here we have my other drawings. This was the first drawing I did that looked good. And I looked at a reference and it looked nothing like the reference, but I was amazed by this. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, cute. I was still trying with watercolor. And then this, just still trying. I was trying very hard. 2018. Still trying with watercolor. I wasn't giving up. Right, so I think this is still 2018 because I remember working on these 2 sketchbooks, the one I just showed and this one at the same time. One was for like drawing, which was this one, and the other one was meant to be like a journal, but then I started drawing in it as well. So January 2018. I took it seriously. I bought the pencils, they were still cheap. I did the swaps, whatever, and then I drew my first slip from a YouTube tutorial. I was very happy. From here on, I just kept improving, and I don't know why. I still can't put a finger on it, but I just kept improving, and then I would improve and I would hit a wall, and then I would just move on to something else and improve on that, and so on. So here I was learning how to do facial features. Pretty sure I was watching a random YouTuber. I was doing everything at once. I wanted to know how to draw everything. I don't recommend that. Find one thing and focus on it. Perspective. I never went back to that. I think I was trying my watercolor. I don't know what this is. This is how I used to draw when I actually tried without tutorials and stuff. I was bad. And then this is a book I got at my local library, and I was obsessed with this book. I used to copy the drawings from this book all the time, and it just taught me how to do these lines. I don't know if you can see, but this is also just from that book. More drawings from the same book. It's called Anaya's Ghost or Anya's Ghost. I don't know how to say the name. Pinterest. Try to draw my own hand, I think. Same book. I didn't trace or anything. I was actually looking and copying. Pinterest. More Pinterest. This was from 2018. I was actually doing my own work now, but these were still copied. Yeah. See, I was saying 2 days difference because this was really bad in my opinion. And then I improved so much on this one. I was like, I got this. I can do this. This was my very first proper sketchbook that I actually used to sketch. Yay. August 2018, I finally took it seriously and I just decided to draw and just learn on YouTube. And then I was scared to do the other eye, so I just left it. I remember showing this to everyone I knew, pretty much everyone. Still learning from YouTube now, not copying. Also, this is when I had my drawing in class phase. I was just doing my drawings in class for some reason. This was my friend, my other friend, my hair. This is when I started learning from Draw with Bunny. Brushes and Bunnies. Sorry, her channel was called Brushes and Bunnies, not Draw with Bunny. She was teaching me how to do profiles, front and the 3/4 view. This was a very pivotal point. I was just... This is all from her. Very grateful. All from her, learning to do hair. Then here I wrote, these are all techniques I've learned from Brushes and Bunny's YouTube channel. I was drawing from, like, I was watching things in real life and drawing them now. My window. And then this is when I tried to draw from memory. I was drawing my own stuff. Some anatomy. Redrawing things I'd already drawn just to see if I, kept the skills. Which is a good idea. I recommend doing that as well. See, I was redrawing the drawings I'd already done. Here I tried to draw nature. I just went through random real life pictures and just tried to draw them, but I realized I didn't have any shading skills. This was my own drawing. I felt very happy. No more copying. Own hair, everything. I did it all on my own. But then I started doing line work and I realized I didn't know how to do that. Yeah, random girl again. Just still remembering. I would just sit and see if I remembered. I drew these trees on the other pages and then I tried to draw them again. Here I found my own way of drawing lips where I just do them whenever I wanted to. I would just pull out my paper and just draw these lips. So I didn't have to follow tutorials anymore. Started doing daily sketches. Still learning from, I think this was from another YouTuber, but I don't remember the name. No reference pictures. I was still using the Draw with Bunny techniques, but this was in class and then I would try to shade, but I was very, very scared to shade and ruin my drawings. See, the lips, still doing them. I said today I learned about the power of layering. So before I was drawing flat without shading, and then I learned how to layer my shading. These are my friends in school. I drew them at lunch. Brushes and Bunnies. I keep saying Draw with Bunnies, I'm so sorry. Brushes and Bunnies techniques, but now I was shading. At the time I didn't realize that I was actually working this way, but it's actually good. I was taking techniques and incorporating and mixing. Tried to shade. I was consistent with these daily sketches. Drawing in class. I remember this day vividly in my head for some reason. I really wanted my teacher to look at my sketchbook and say, "You're amazing." And that never happened. finally shading and shading and shading. No reference. I wonder how many lips I've drawn in my life. Jeez. I drew this at lunchtime. I got the sketchbook from Amazon using my mom's credit card. Got in trouble. I need to cover this, but with this sketchbook I made a big mistake where I went over the pages with water because I saw that it preserves your drawings, and I ruined so many really well shaded drawings, but you live and you learn. And then I wrote some One Direction lyrics there. This is when I would just take random things from different drawings from other people. Timothy Chalamet reference. For some reason, every time I go from one sketchbook to another, I realize that I get better, because this was the same month I was drawing in that sketchbook I just showed, and the skills are so different. But I think I just changed my mindset. This took me a long time. I was drawing slowly, looking at the reference. Just when Call Me By Your Name came out, around that time, I think. Yep. Doing my own. Watching an Inspector Calls in English class. Any British people watching. And then, yes, you can see I ruined so many of them, but they were very dark, but then they got really light. But either way, I was still very light-handed with my sketches. This was when I realized I could actually do this. I drew this by myself. As you can see, I was using brushes and bunnies techniques on the hair as well, and I was so happy with this. She even put like on my Instagram, actually. Kiara's Art, anyone who wants to follow. She put like on this. I was shocked. And then I drew this lady, and then I went back to watercolor, but I was too scared to go into color straight away, so I did this black and white one. By the way, throughout this era, I've always just watched YouTube tutorials. Every time I didn't know how to do anything, I would go on YouTube, and that's it. This one, I drew all of this, and then I tried to do my own coloring. Still drawing. I was obsessed with Call Me By Your Name, as you can see. One mistake I made is I drew this and then I went over it with the water technique that I was using to preserve my paintings, and yeah. Just noses, and then Jungkook from BTS. I was obsessed. I was honestly living in that whole era, just following trends, enjoying everything. Inspired by, again, Girl by Bunny. This is my other drawing. I just printed it and tried to do color, but then I realized you can't watercolor on print paper. So random celebrities: Harry Styles, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna. I was improving bit by bit, but not with watercolor. I was happy with this. This was from Proko's channel. This is my second gouache painting. Experimenting with art styles, still trying with watercolor. Try to have my own style. I like this. This is when I did an artist study. I forgot what her Instagram was. And then from those studies, I tried to create my own type of drawing, I guess. V from BTS. Jimin from BTS. Billie Eilish. Pinterest. I remember posting when Pinterest used to have the try it button where you could try a type of drawing and just upload it, and then people would put like on it. I remember this getting a lot of likes, and it's my first ever biro pen drawing. First drawing I did in pen. Trying to learn how to draw. I wrote minimum effort. I'm sure it took effort. Still creating my own characters. I wish I'd carried on doing that. More Proko channel. Timothy Chalamet for TikTok, 2019. Watercolor, just black watercolor. I need to cover this. Yep. Inspired by an artist, that same artist from before. Just trying to do my own thing. I don't know what this was. I just know I found it easy to draw this, but I just didn't like the colors I used. Like, why is there green here? From Instagram, just practicing using other people as reference. Oh my gosh, there was this. I gave credit. Bad Judy on Instagram. I love the way this person drew lips and teeth and stuff like that. This is copied from her work, and then I drew these in her style. I just studied the way she drew teeth, and then I did my own. Oh, this was my first gouache painting. Drew this on my own. I was very proud. I used many references, but did it all on my own. I tried to do gouache, but I just wasn't good yet. I hate finishing my work. I don't know why. It just takes so much effort to just polish it, because I'm a perfectionist, so I just knew it would take me ages, so I just gave up. I love this as well. I was just shading with my fingers like this. And by the way, at this point, I stopped using the water technique. So this is from that webtoon called Edith. Took inspiration. Poses. Sorry about the outside noises. SpongeBob. Around this time, I remember this perfectly. I felt helpless. I was going through my art block, and I don't think I left it in the sketchbook. Shelley Duvall, R.I.P. I don't know what these are. Figures. More gouache. I remember posting this on TikTok and getting like 1 like. Yeah, this was my art block. I was just drawing the same face over and over and over. Definitely art block, because I don't draw like that. Posted these on TikTok as well. I finished this sketchbook on the 7th of October 2019, and I think I wrote, thank you for literally making me realize how much I love drawing and that I'm actually good at it. I've learned watercolor and gouache on this sketchbook for the first time. Thank you. So I don't know why I'm thanking the sketchbook, but I'm glad I wrote that, so at least I know the mindset I had at the time. So now we're moving on to 2019/2020. I got an even better sketchbook. It was mixed media, and this was where I did most of my experimenting with watercolor, with I think acrylic paint, but I'm not sure if I started acrylic on this, but I was just improving on a lot. And I also have other drawings and stuff, but those were for my GCSE art, so I have those in a different folder and they're quite big, so I just don't want to go through that. But I was still drawing in my sketchbooks. As you can see, not the best at taking care of stuff. I tried acrylic for the first time. It was horrible. I just didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what was happening. So I just went back to my sketching. See, I started a different sketchbook and randomly I know how to draw even better. But it was like, this was literally like a few days after, so I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the paper. There was an Instagram user called Monex, and he used to draw like this a lot. Tried gouache again, but it was too pink. Don't know what this is. This was done using gouache. I was going through an art block here when I did this. Oh, watercolor. So we're still in 2019. And I was just drawing Instagram guys and writing One Direction lyrics. I really like this though. I feel like improved so much, like here, you know. But this was at the end of 2019, December. This is scary. I saw this guy's mugshot and I was like, let me draw him. And then I realized later on, like years later, that he actually murdered his entire family. So that's not good, is it? I thought he was just in for robbery. Okay, that Monix artist. I was inspired, and so I produced my own work. My teacher hated this, by the way. I tried to submit this for GCSE art. He said absolutely not. Finally starting to get better at watercolor. I'm not sure what was my first watercolor painting, but now we're getting into 2020. More watercolor. This actually did go for my GCSE art portfolio. More watercolor. This was for my friend. More watercolor. Gouache. Just learning proper watercolor techniques. And this drawing of the Joker that went missing for 2 years and then I found it. And these. This is my next sketchbook, my 2020 sketchbook. I was working on it alongside the other drawings I just showed, and I did a video on it already. It's my first video on my channel. I can just go through it quickly as well. Improving with drawing in pen. More Timothy Chalamet. Just gonna go through this very fast. I drew on this throughout 2020, just randomly. Just random pages, different days. As you can see, I had a scary obsession with Timothy Chalamet, even though I never admitted it. And I'm sure you can see the improvement in this sketchbook with my skills, and I was more confident just drawing. So actually, this is my first time actually seeing how I improved. I just love drawing with pen. Even now, I still draw with pen. I would grab a pen before I grab a pencil. Just experimenting in these pages because I had a massive art block. And yeah, that's it for this sketchbook. I'm pretty sure. Yep. After that sketchbook, I think at the same time actually I was working on this other mixed media sketchbook. And this is when I actually took acrylic painting seriously, and it was my first acrylic painting. This little cat that I love so much. Till this day, I still love it. I love how I drew the letters. I didn't do much on this sketchbook. This was around the time where I was doing my GCSE, so I just had to take a step back. My second acrylic painting on the 20th of September 2020, and then just some color pencil drawings. Any definite fans. Some cats. I love cats. Some watercolor studies. This is another cat in acrylic paint. This was during another art block. Just some gouache studies. I was constantly going to pink. This was inspired by this artist there on Instagram. Tried to paint this in acrylic. It was going so well, I got scared and never finished it. Testing some markers. More Harry Styles. I don't know what this is. Now we're down to one of my last sketchbooks, because I then had to do A-level art, and if you're in England, you know how rough A-levels are. You don't have time to do any of your work. You just focus on studying those 3 subjects, and I was actually doing 4, so I had no time for my own personal sketchbooks. I was still trying, but most of my drawings were done in my A-level sketchbooks. In my A-level sketchbooks, I just did a lot of oil paintings, acrylic painting, watercolor. I did everything in those sketchbooks. It's now getting dark outside, so I had to turn on my big light, but let's go through this one. I also didn't work in this sketchbook too much. Started it in January 2021. Taking my time drawing. At this point, I knew how to draw. I just had to have better references. Never finished these. I can still finish them one day. I was too scared of ruining those ones, to the point where I just didn't draw. I just didn't finish them. Especially this one, I really wanted to, but I was too scared. I remember using no reference for this, and I thought it was amazing. This was my very last sketchbook, the sketchbook I started in 2021, and I am still working on it and barely drew in it because I was doing A-levels. I was mostly using it for my A-level paintings and stuff. I did these drawings just when I had time after school. Cute. Already in 2022. Just some final painting plans. This was just a plan for an art competition. Pen sketches. More Shelley Duvall. I just love her face. This is not her though. We're already in 2024. This was for my digital painting. And my very last drawing so far, which is actually uploaded on my channel as well. Thank you so much for anyone who took the time to watch this video. I know it's very long, but I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you when I upload next. Bye.